Hello, long time no see. Yeah, I haven't made a YouTube video in a while, and it's the last day of 2023. Felt motivated, got some tapes around, so I thought, why not make a YouTube video last of the year? I picked out the top 23 favorite tapes that I found or acquired this year, and I did a post on my Instagram about it because I think it was VHS Surfer who'd started the tradition, but I just think it's a really cool tradition, and I don't know, I kind of felt like I wanted to talk about why I picked the movies I picked. So yeah, I'm rambling, so let's just get started. First one, they're not in any order, it's just however I pull them from the stack, and I gave myself little notes so I wouldn't ramble too much and remember some things I wanted to remember. So here we go. First one, Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, came out in 1954. I didn't know this, but it's based off of a short story from 1942 called It Had to Be Murder by Cornell Woolrich. Yeah, I love this movie. Big fan of Alfred Hitchcock movies, especially his thrillers. This is one, every time I watch it, I'm on the edge of my seat, and I love it. And I love the setting, like getting to see all of the apartments and how the kind of slice of life with all those people. And who doesn't love James Stewart and Grace Kelly? This one, so I almost didn't get this. I got it from a claim sale in one of my Facebook groups. It's called Pennsylvania Diners and Other Roadside Restaurants. Really cheap, and I almost didn't get it, and then I looked it up on eBay in case somebody else beat me to it, and the eBay prices were way higher than he was asking, and I was like, why not? It looks fun. It is on YouTube if you are interested in watching it. I think it's put out by PBS. It's from 1993. It's just, yeah, I really like diners, and I think some of these are still open, so I thought maybe someday have like a little road trip. I'm gonna say a lot now, especially now that I've pointed it out. Number 3, Brewster's Millions, which this had been on my wish list, and my wish list, actually, just make a little note. My brother encouraged me to make a VHS wish list, which I started using lists more on Letterboxd, and I really enjoy that. It helps me keep track of what I really want in my collection, and in case anybody wants to do any trading or anything, I know like this is what I'm looking for, because I have been getting lots of doubles lately because I need to update my catalog. But anyways, Brewster's Millions was on my wish list, and actually quite a few of the movies from my stack I got from a Secret Santa thing I did through Video Vagrants on Facebook. It was a lot of fun. Liz and Ryan had me, and they did an amazing job, and I think there's like 7 or 8 tapes that I got from them. I was just like, I was so excited. But I had to make a note of Brewster's Millions because I love this movie. It's kind of hit or miss if people like it. I love it because I love the story. It's based off of a 1902 novel by George Barr McCutcheon, and there were actually, so far, because I don't know if there's any new ones, 7 movies based off of that story. And the whole idea is that Richard Pryor, he is going to inherit $300 million from a relative he didn't realize he had. But the caveat, he has to spend $30 million in 30 days. I made a little note so I remember. He has to spend $30 million in 30 days, and at the end of 30 days have no assets. So like nothing, unless he started out with it. So yeah. And John Candy's in it. And I felt like they were a good team. They played off each other's sense of humor. From 1985. And I wrote down, I think all the movies, I wrote down what year they came out, and there were quite a few 1985, so that must have been a good year for movies. Even I thought 1984 was the good year, but anyways, moving on. I bought this from my friend Aaron. He was having a claim sale. I love The Outsiders. I love the book, love the movie. It's one of those rare cases where I can't say I love the book or the movie better, but that they're both like on an even playing field. It's like Matilda. I love the book. I love the movie. I can't choose between them. Um, cool thing about this that my brother David pointed out to me was that the original theatrical version, this one, the one we're all used to watching, if you've seen it, is technically the director's cut because Francis Ford Coppola liked it so much. But he's one of those directors that likes to keep, experimenting with his movies. So he released, where did I write it down? In 2005, he released an extended edition. It's got like over 20 minutes of extra stuff, like a new beginning sequence and other things throughout the movie that make it more, where did I write it? More faithful to the novel, which was, I thought that was cool. I haven't seen that version, but I need to. What else? Oh, I thought I knew that the author S.E. Hinton. I knew she was young when she wrote the book, but I wanted to know how old she was. So when the book was published, she was 19, but she was 15 when she started writing it. And she started writing it because she noticed that there wasn't really good, accurate representation of teenagers in books and movies. So I thought that was pretty cool. I have only read The Outsiders. I need to read more. I think Rumblefish, that's the one I want to try and read this coming year. And I just got, not just got, when did I get that? I'm not sure when I got it, but I got the movie version not too long ago. Part of the reason I love The Outsiders so much, aside from it being a great story, is that I think I read it in 7th grade, and up until then, I loved poetry, but I loved like Shakespearean poetry, like the classics, real flowery stuff. And when I read The Outsiders, Ponyboy recites a Robert Frost poem, Nothing Gold Can Stay, and I was instantly, I loved it. So I became a big fan of Robert Frost, and then through Robert Frost, that got me to branch out into other modern poets, and thus getting me to like poetry even more. Thus, I'll try to speed up. I'm already at 7 minutes. Dogtown and Z-Boys. So I actually bought this because I wanted Lords of Dogtown that came out in 2005. But that one, I didn't realize that one's kind of hard to find. So when I found the documentary was cheaper, I was like, well, I'll have that for my collection too, because love the documentary, love the movie. If you don't know anything about it, it's really big in skateboard culture. The movie is about droughts in 1970 Southern California, and what that did to the skateboard community. I don't know why I keep saying that, but I went through a phase as a teenager where I loved skateboarding, like books, movies, magazines and stuff. And I had favorite companies. I could never really get very good at skateboarding, but I liked just boarding around where I lived, and yeah, I'm sounding like a nerd, but that's okay. This one, my science project, I had never heard of this, and this is another one that came out in 1985. And when I was looking up to see if there was any fun trivia about it, it said somebody like some big movie reviewer said it was the less clever, less expensive Back to the Future, because it came out the same year as Real Genius, Weird Science, and Back to the Future. So I thought that was funny. It has a whole alien plot twist to it that I thought sounded fun. It's got Dennis Hopper. Love Dennis Hopper. So I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited. And it's got that whole, the gray flap. I think that's cool. Yeah. Is it called flap? I don't know. Okay. This one. If you have not seen this, I recommend it. It's not very long. 50 minutes. I watched it like at homeschooling or maybe at a youth group or something. Came out in 1992. So it is a Christian version of the whole It's a Wonderful Life plot, in that Dan Burgess, he's the guy on the cover, he is tired of missing out on parties and fun things because he's a Christian. So he like wakes up one morning and gets to experience what life would be like if he wasn't a Christian. It is very cheesy, very fun. I think there are 2 memes that were made from it. So if you've ever heard anybody say "Cool it, Todd," that's from this movie. And "Hey, Scotty, Jesus, man." Yeah, that's from this. So I quote that with my brothers a lot. This one I was so excited to find, and it's got the side flap. I don't have a lot of those. Just one of the guys. I love movies like this where pretend to be somebody else. They're very silly, and it's a loose adaptation of Twelfth Night. So I love modern retellings of fairy tales and Shakespearean stories. I think that's really fun. And this has William Zabka. Poor guy always has to play a villain. And Sherilyn Fenn, who played Audrey in Twin Peaks, and I forgot she was in this. So, oh, and this is another one that came out in 1985. So that's a good one. This one, I cannot believe I have never seen this. I've seen pieces of it, but not the whole thing. So I had to have it, and I thought maybe someday it would be fun to do like a cosplay version of it, because I like to do that a little bit. Came out in 1996, directed by Tim Burton. It has The First Love of My Life, Michael J. Fox in it. Actually, it's got a lot of people in it, like Danny DeVito. Mine just went blank. I could look at the case. Glenn Close, Jack Nicholson, Pierce Brosnan, Annette Bening. Yeah, just to name a few. But yeah, looks really good. I thought this was cool. The director previously wanted to use stop motion animation, but went over budget, so they had to use computer animation. But that would have been fun. And at the time, Tim Burton was making what's it called? His Ed Wood movie. So he wanted this to be kind of an homage to Ed Wood, and I think you can totally see that. This is another one of my childhood favorites that I can't believe I didn't have, that I got from my Secret Santa. That Thing You Do. Came out in 1996, which is that? Yeah, same year as Mars Attacks. Cool. If you haven't seen this, you need to see it, especially if you love music, 1960s music. Liv Tyler, Tom Hanks, Steve Zahn. Yeah, really good. And Mondo Music teamed up with Playtones and whoever owns the rights to the soundtrack from this movie, and they made this really beautiful splattered vinyl for the soundtrack, and I need to have it. Like, I think I'm gonna try and get that. Another 1985 classic, Lady Hawk. This is another one that I grew up watching a lot. It's got Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Broderick, Rutger Hauer. Oh, it's so good, so good. And it's got kind of like a fairy tale feel to it. I'm not going to tell you about it in case you haven't seen it. I mean, like I said, it came out in 1985. So if you haven't seen it, that's not my fault if you get spoiled. But anyways, directed by Richard Donner. I thought this was interesting. He tried to get this made 2 other times before he finally made it, and the first 2 times he tried England and Czechoslovakia. Blech. And he ended up filming in Italy, which is very cool. And they originally wanted Kurt Russell instead of Rutger Hauer, which Rutger Hauer does an amazing job. So glad they got him instead. And they wanted Sean Penn and Dustin Hoffman before Matthew Broderick. And I think Matthew Broderick did a great job. He's very cute in this too. The soundtrack is very weird. It's very 80s synthesizer and doesn't quite match the vibe of the movie, but it was weird. They took a chance. I think somebody reviewed it as like one of the worst soundtracks. I picked this one. It's not really my thing, except I love Jim Varney, but it's The Misadventures of Bubba, and it's like gun safety, hunting safety. But part of the reason I picked it for my top 23 is because, one, it's really funny. It's very short. It's only 29 minutes. And I got it from an antique shop that has a dollar room, and I love that. And when I watched it with Brandon, my husband, and he remembers watching this in a gun safety class at school. So I thought that was really cool, have that connection. Yeah. I've got quite a few of his Ernest movies. I need the Christmas one. I don't have that one. This was another one, Freeway, I got from my Secret Santa. Came out another 1996. That's so funny. It's a modern retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, Reese Witherspoon, Kiefer Sutherland. Haven't seen it, but sometimes I get weird with movies, and like I don't want to watch it unless I can find the VHS tape first. So that's one of those movies. Yeah. The Shining, a classic. It's another one where I love the book and the movie, like on the same. Can't pick one over the other. They're very different, and yet, it's the same story. I watched a documentary about Stephen King, and he said that he always felt like Stanley Kubrick was a very cold man, and thought it was funny that in his version of The Shining, the hotel burned, and in Kubrick's, it froze. So just that there was kind of like the dichotomy, is that the right word? These two different men and how, kind of represented themselves. I always feel bad saying I love this movie because of how Stanley Kubrick treated Shelley Duvall. But yeah, it's a great movie. The soundtrack is amazing. My husband and I watch it every Halloween. Frankenstein, the true story. I don't know anything about this. I think it came out in 1973 or 74. It's got James Seymour. I really like Frankenstein, so whenever I find versions I haven't seen, I grab them. That was funny. I think only two movies in my stack have Lance Henriksen in them. Man's Best Friend. This one came out in 1993. Genetically Engineered Dog. And it's got Ali Sheedy in it as well. Haven't seen it, but Lance Henriksen. So yeah, gotta watch that. This one, Near Dark. This was another one I got from my Secret Santa. Oh, I really like this movie. And when I was reading about the movie, that the writer wanted to do a Western, couldn't get the funding, so they added kind of a vampire element to the story. Not kind of, it's a vampire movie. But a lot of vampire movies were really hot at the time, like Lost Boys, and I can't remember what else. Came out in 1987. So that really helped it get made. And so like a Western vampire story, that's such a cool idea. It's got Jeanette Goldstein, Lance Henriksen, Bill Paxton. Ugh, yes. And the little, I don't know if you can see him. I should have written down his name. I remember him from Teen Witch, the annoying little brother. So I thought that was cool. Oh, I'm definitely running long. I'm at 18 minutes now. So, Grim Prairie Tales. This is a tape I have been after for a while, and it's another movie where it's like I don't want to watch it unless I can have the VHS tape first. So it's a silly attitude because some tapes are way too expensive. This is a horror anthology. Came out in 1990. It's a good year. It has James Earl Jones and Brad Dourif. Am I saying that right? Really like him. He was in all the Child's Play movies, I believe. Probably all of them, I think. So the reason I reacted to this movie was, I treated myself to this movie on my birthday. And after I bought it, I originally had regret because I paid more than I wanted to. I had been holding out, hoping I would find it for a good deal, and then my husband was like, if you want it, just treat yourself to it for your birthday. And then immediately after, a friend was having a claim sale, and they were selling it for like more than half of what I paid. Or no. Like, it was really cheap. A lot cheaper than I paid. So, I didn't get it off of eBay, though. I bought it from a reseller. Yeah, but At least, you know, supporting a small business, right? Moving on, The Day the Earth Stood Still, which, just take a minute to look at this cover. I love this cover. Oh, so good. Got this from another claim sale on Facebook. Came out in 1951, based off of the 1940 short story Farewell to the Master by Harry Bates, which I didn't know that. I knew about it because of the 2008 remake with Keanu Reeves, which I haven't seen. I knew that was a remake. My husband and I like to watch old sci-fi movies, so this was such a classic. We were both like, well, why don't we have it? And when I was reading up about the movie, I found out that the robot named Gort in the movie, the actor who plays him, his name was Locke Martin. He was originally an usher at Grauman's Chinese Theater, and he was 7 feet 7 inches tall. And poor guy, he could only film in half-hour bursts because the suit he's in, like he had to be laced in, was like heat-inducing, and so it would like make him ill being in that for too long. So they had to just do lots of editing. So poor guy. But yeah. Okay, I do like sci-fi movies. This is a post-apocalyptic movie, but I have to admit the only reason I wanted it was because all the pictures I've seen of Sean Connery in it, he's wearing, well, you can't see it, it's covered up, but he's wearing like this bright red Speedo with these suspender things and thigh-high boots and this long braid. I mean, magnificent. So I had to see what movie inspired that outfit for him. It came out in 1974. It's got, oh, and the director, John Borman, he was inspired by Lord of the Rings. He really wanted to make a Lord of the Rings movie, but he couldn't get the funding. So he made this post-apocalyptic movie. Tongue twister. Another one I got from My Secret Santas, The Four Feathers. This is the 2002 version, Heath Ledger and, oh lord, Kate Hudson. My mind went blank. This is a classic in my family. We all grew up watching it. I don't know what makes us pick our family classics, but really like this one. I thought it was funny. This movie, so it was based off of a novel from 1902 by A.E.W. Mason, and there have been 7 movies made of this story. Just recently watched one of them. It was made in 1939. That's a Criterion. Watched that with my family. That was really good, but I really like this one. Heath Ledger, I just feel like does a really good job. If you don't know anything about it, just watch it. It's a really good historical drama. Yeah, and like, yeah. Okay. Let's move on because I'm over 20 minutes now. No one's gonna watch this. I'll save that one for last because it's got a sweet story. Another one I got from My Secret Santas, Muppet Treasure Island, which I thought I had it because I love the Muppets, but I don't have this one. And also, can we please bring back the Muppets making classic literature covers, remakes, whatever? Because they did Treasure Island, they did Christmas Carol, they've done fairy tales. Please, please, please more, especially Pride and Prejudice. That would be amazing. But what's not to love about this? Tim Curry, Muppets. Yes, please. Also, is it Jennifer Saunders? I think it's Jennifer Saunders. She's in it, I believe. I get Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders mixed up, but she's in it, and just a small part, but it's hilarious. So I have a funny. This is another childhood movie, but we had a weird living situation at one time where we didn't have like all of our stuff was in storage except for this movie. So we watched this movie over and over and over and over and probably drove my mom nuts, but I'm not sick of it. Love this movie. And now I have it in my collection. And now the last movie I will talk about, Chicken Run. It's not actually my movie. It is actually my daughter's movie. This was her first Christmas, and her uncle, my brother, gifted it to her as her first Christmas present. So I think that's really sweet that her first Christmas present was also her first VHS tape. And what's not to love about Chicken Run? Made by Aardman Productions. It was their first feature length film. It was crazy successful because, you know, they'd already made like the Wallace and Gromit shorts, and those are wonderful. This one came out in 2000. What else? They just came out with a sequel on Netflix. I haven't watched that yet, but I'm very excited to watch that. Yeah. Oh, I'm over 25 minutes now, but I'll probably do some editing. Maybe I can get it down a little bit. If you have stuck in for the long haul, thank you for watching. Those were my top 23 tapes I've acquired for the year 2023. I can't wait to find more. As you can see behind me, my collection is growing. I'm gonna need to do some weeding to make room for more. That's always hard, but oh well, I love it. And hopefully in this new year I'll make some more YouTube videos. And yeah, I think I already said thanks for watching, but thanks for watching, and yeah, see you in the next one.